The great hall of the Galactic Council was silent. Hundreds of alien beings sat in their floating chairs, all looking down at the center stage. The air felt heavy with worry and fear. Something bad was happening, and everyone knew it. Vextar stood up from his golden throne. He was tall and thin, with blue skin that shined like metal. His forearms moved as he spoke, and his voice was deep and scary. As the leader of the Krenari Empire, everyone listened when he talked. "Council members," Vextar said, his voice echoing in the huge room. "We have a problem. A big problem." The lights dimmed and a large screen appeared in the air above them. Images started to play. They showed a small blue planet spinning slowly in space. It looked pretty and peaceful, but Vextar's face was angry. "This is Earth," he said, pointing at the planet with one of his long fingers. "Home to a species called humans. 3 months ago we thought they were just another weak race. We were wrong." The screen changed to show spaceships. They were not like the smooth, beautiful ships that most aliens built. These human ships looked rough and ugly. They had sharp edges and strange colors. Some had pictures painted on their sides. "Look at these ships," Vextar continued. "They are not pretty, but they are dangerous. Very dangerous." An old alien with green skin and 6 eyes spoke up. This was Kreldon from the Dreleki Trade Union. His voice was shaky and scared. "Council leader," Kreldon said, "I must tell you what happened to our trading ships. Last week, space pirates attacked one of our cargo fleets near the Outer Rim. 20 pirate ships, all with good weapons and shields." The room became very quiet. Everyone knew about space pirates. They were hard to fight and even harder to catch. "The pirates had us trapped," Kreldon went on. "We called for help on all emergency channels. We thought we would die. Then these human ships arrived. Only 5 of them." The screen now showed a recording of the battle. The alien council members watched as small human ships flew toward a much larger pirate fleet. It looked like the humans were going to lose badly. "Watch carefully," Kreldon said. "See how they fight." The human ships did not fight like normal space fleets. Instead of staying in formation and shooting from far away, they split up and flew in crazy patterns. They dove between the pirate ships, spinning and turning in ways that should have been impossible. One human ship pretended to be damaged and ran away. When 3 pirate ships chased it, the human ship suddenly turned around and crashed into the middle pirate ship. The explosion destroyed all 4 ships, but the human pilot had escaped in a small pod just before the crash. Another human ship used a cargo container as a weapon, throwing it at a pirate ship with such force that it broke through the hull. The pirates inside died instantly. "This is not normal fighting," said a tall alien with crystal skin. "Why do they attack like this?" "It makes no sense," Kreldon nodded sadly. "That is what makes them so dangerous. We cannot predict what they will do." In 20 minutes, all 20 pirate ships were destroyed. All of them. The humans lost only 2 ships, and even those crews survived. Vextar's eyes became bright red with anger. "This cannot continue. These humans are spreading across the galaxy too fast. They are making contact with other species and forming alliances. Some worlds are even asking for human protection instead of ours." He pressed a button and new images appeared. These showed human colonies on different planets. The humans were building cities, farms, and factories. They were also helping local alien species with technology and medicine. "Look at this," Vextar said, his voice getting louder. "On Kepler 442b, humans helped the native Zentari fix their dying ecosystem. On Ross 128b, they shared their medical knowledge and saved thousands of lives. They are making friends everywhere they go." A small alien with purple fur stood up. This was Ambassador Thyron from the Peaceful Worlds Coalition. Her voice was soft but worried. "Council leader," she said, "maybe we should try to talk with these humans. They seem to help others, not hurt them. Perhaps they are not our enemies." Vexitar's 4 hands slammed down on his throne armrests. The loud bang made everyone jump. "No," he shouted. "We are the Galactic Council. We decide who joins the galaxy and who does not. These humans are too dangerous. They fight in ways we do not understand. They make alliances without asking us first. They must be stopped before they become too strong." The screen changed again. Now it showed human military bases and training centers. Soldiers were practicing with weapons and vehicles. But something was strange about how they trained. "Watch this recording from their military exercises," Vextar said. The video showed human soldiers in a battle simulation. When their enemies surrounded them, instead of surrendering or retreating, the humans did something unexpected. They split into small groups and attacked from all directions at once. Some groups sacrificed themselves to save others. Some pretended to surrender and then attacked when the enemy got close. "This is madness," whispered a robot-like alien. "They value victory more than their own lives." "No," said Kreldon quietly. "That is not right." "I watched them save my crews. They risk their lives for others, even strangers. That is what makes them so scary. They do not fight just to win. They fight for things they believe in." Vextar did not want to hear any more discussion. He stood up tall and his blue skin began to glow with power. "Enough talking," he declared. "The decision is made. We will send our strongest warriors to Earth. They will show these humans that the Galactic Council is still in charge of this galaxy." He pointed to 5 empty platforms around the room. One by one, holograms appeared on each platform. These were not just any warriors. These were the 5 paragons, the strongest fighters in the entire galaxy. The first hologram showed a massive alien covered in black armor. This was Kethmor, the Kronari warlord. He had won 1,000 battles and never lost a single fight. His energy weapons could destroy entire buildings with one shot. The second showed a sleek, cat-like alien with silver fur and glowing green eyes. This was Zilnara, the Zerathi huntress. She could read minds and track anyone across entire star systems. No prey had ever escaped her. The third was enormous, even for a hologram. Thoxven, the Goliathan berserker, stood twice as tall as any human. His skin was like rock and his strength could crush metal with his bare hands. Armies had tried to kill him and failed. The fourth looked like a floating brain inside a mechanical body. Sindril, the Technar strategist, was a living computer. It could calculate every possible battle outcome in seconds and always chose the perfect strategy. The last hologram was hard to see clearly. It kept shifting and changing like smoke. This was Vorgash, the Voidborn assassin. It could become invisible and kill targets without anyone knowing it was there. "These 5 warriors have never been defeated," Vextar announced proudly. "Together they have conquered entire worlds. They will go to Earth and show these humans their place in the galaxy." Ambassador Thyron tried one more time. "Please, Council Leader, think about this. Maybe we should send diplomats first, not warriors." Vexitar laughed, a cold sound that echoed through the hall. "Diplomats are for equals. These humans are not our equals. They are children playing with dangerous toys. The 5 paragons will teach them respect." He pressed another button and a star map appeared. It showed the route from the Council worlds to Earth. The journey would take 2 weeks. "The fleet leaves tomorrow," Vextar said. "In 1 month, the human problem will be solved. The galaxy will remember that the Galactic Council decides who lives and who dies among the stars." As the council meeting ended, the alien representatives left the hall. Most of them looked worried, but none dared to speak against Vextar's decision. The 5 paragons were too powerful to stop, and Vextar was too proud to change his mind. Only Kreldon remained behind, staring at the images of human ships on the screen. He remembered how the human pilots had saved his people. He remembered their strange way of fighting and their willingness to die for others. "You have made a terrible mistake," he whispered to the empty hall. "These humans are not like other species. They do not fight like we do. They do not think like we do." But his words were lost in the silence. The decision was made. The 5 paragons would go to Earth expecting an easy victory against a primitive species. They had no idea what was waiting for them. The morning sun was rising over New Busan Colony when the warning sirens started screaming. Governor Park Min-ho was drinking his coffee in his office when his assistant burst through the door. "Sir," the young man said, breathing hard, "we have incoming ships. Lots of them." Park Min-ho set down his coffee cup and looked out the window. In the distance, he could see 5 bright lights in the sky getting bigger and brighter. These were not human ships. "How many people live in the colony now?" he asked calmly. "Almost 50,000, sir, including the families who arrived last month." Park Min-ho nodded. He had been a soldier before becoming governor. He knew what those lights in the sky meant. War was coming to New Busan. "Send a message to all department heads," he said. "Emergency meeting in the main hall. Now." Within an hour, the colony's leaders had gathered. Dr. Kim Nari, the chief scientist, sat next to Captain Yoon Taiho from the Defense Force. Engineer Cho Yunji was there too, still wearing her work clothes from the mining operation. "The situation is simple," Park Min-ho told them. 5 alien warships are approaching our colony. They sent us a message 30 minutes ago." He pressed a button and a hologram appeared in the center of the room. It showed a tall blue alien with 4 arms. The alien's voice was cold and angry. "Humans of New Busan," the alien said, I am Vextar, leader of the Galactic Council. You have been chosen to receive punishment for your species' crimes against galactic order. Surrender now and your deaths will be quick. Resist and you will suffer before you die. The message ended and the room was quiet. Everyone looked scared, but nobody ran away. Captain Yoon Tae-ho spoke first. How long do we have? 6 hours, Park Min-ho replied. Maybe less, Dr. Kim Nari raised her hand. She was a small woman with short black hair and smart eyes. Governor, I need to see the alien ships with our telescopes. There might be something we can learn about their technology. Do it, Park Min-ho said. What about our defenses, Captain? Yoon Tae-ho looked embarrassed. Sir, we have 12 small fighter ships and some ground-based missile launchers. These are mining and patrol ships, not military vessels. Against 5 alien warships? He did not finish the sentence. Engineer Cho Yoon-ji stood up. She was young and energetic, with oil stains on her hands from working on machines. Governor, what if we do not fight them like they expect us to fight? What do you mean? Park Min-ho asked. Well, Cho Yoon-ji said, this is a mining colony. We have explosives, drilling equipment, and heavy machinery. Maybe we can use those things as weapons. Dr. Kim Nari's eyes lit up. That is a good idea. And I have been studying the message they sent us. Their technology looks very advanced, but it also looks very predictable. How so? Park Min-ho asked. Their ships all look the same shape, Dr. Kim Nari explained. Their formation is perfect. Everything about them follows patterns and rules. I think they fight the same way most advanced species fight, with overwhelming force and superior technology. Captain Yoon Tae-ho frowned. But that means they will win easily. Not necessarily, Dr. Kim Nari said with a small smile. Humans do not always follow patterns and rules. Sometimes we do crazy things that do not make sense. Maybe that can help us. Park Min-ho thought about this. He remembered his military training on Earth. Human soldiers were taught to be flexible and creative. When the normal plan did not work, they were supposed to try something unexpected. All right, he said. Dr. Kim, you study their technology and find weaknesses. Captain Yoon, prepare our fighters, but do not use normal tactics. Engineer Cho, see what mining equipment we can turn into weapons. I will organize the civilian evacuation. Sir, said Captain Yoon Tae-ho, should we call for help from Earth? Park Min-ho shook his head. Earth is too far away. Help would take months to arrive. We are on our own. Over the next few hours, New Busan Colony became very busy. Dr. Kim Nari and her science team worked with the telescopes and sensors, studying the approaching alien ships. What they found was both good and bad news. The alien ships are very powerful, Dr. Kim Nari reported to the emergency meeting. Each one could probably destroy our entire colony by itself. But they are also very predictable. She showed them pictures on the computer screen. Look at how they fly. Perfect formation, equal distances between ships following the same speed and direction. Their weapons all point forward. Their shields are strongest in front. So how does that help us? Asked Captain Yoon Tae-ho. It means they expect us to fight like they do, Dr. Kim Nari explained. They probably think we will line up our ships in formation and have a big space battle. But what if we do not do that? Meanwhile, Engineer Cho Yoon-ji had been very busy in the mining areas. She came to the meeting covered in dirt and smiling. I have good news, she said. We can turn the mining laser into a weapon. It was made to cut through rock, but it might work on alien ships too. Also, we have lots of explosive charges for mining. We can put them on our small ships and use them like missiles. What about the heavy machinery? Park Min-ho asked. Even better, Cho Yoon-ji said excitedly. We have 12 giant mining robots. They are slow, but they are very strong. We can hide them underground and use them to attack if the aliens land troops. Captain Yoon Tae-ho had been working with his pilots. Most of them were young people who had come to the colony looking for adventure. They were scared, but they were also brave. Sir, he reported, my pilots have a plan. Instead of fighting in formation, we want to attack from all directions at once. Some ships will pretend to run away and lead the aliens into traps. Others will hide behind asteroids and attack by surprise. Park Min-ho listened to all the reports. The plan was crazy and dangerous. They had almost no chance of winning. But it was better than just giving up. There is something else, Dr. Kim Nari said quietly. I translated more of their message. They are not just here to destroy our colony. They want to send a message to all humans. They want to show the galaxy that humans are weak and should be afraid of the Galactic Council. Then we will show them they are wrong, Park Min-ho said firmly. As the alien ships got closer, the colonists could see them with their own eyes. 5 huge warships, each one bigger than any building in New Busan. They moved slowly and steadily, like predators that knew their prey could not escape. The alien leader, Vextar, sent another message. This time his voice was even more angry. Humans, your time is up. We know you are preparing to fight. This is foolish. We are sending our 5 paragons to your planet. Each one is the greatest warrior of their species. Each one has destroyed armies and conquered worlds. Surrender now, or they will make you suffer. The message showed 5 alien warriors. Each one looked terrifying in a different way. There was a giant in black armor, a silver cat creature with glowing eyes, a monster made of rock, a floating brain in a robot body, and something that looked like living shadow. These are the beings we have to fight? Whispered one of the pilots. Yes, said Captain Yoon Taiho. But remember, they expect us to be afraid. They expect us to run or surrender. They do not expect us to fight back in ways they have never seen before. Governor Park Min-ho stood up and looked at everyone in the room. These were good people, scientists, engineers, pilots, miners, farmers. They had come to New Busan to build a new life among the stars. Now they had to fight for that life. I will not lie to you, he said. We will probably die today. These aliens are stronger and have better weapons. But we are humans. When someone threatens our families and our homes, we do not give up. We fight back. He paused and looked each person in the eyes. We may not win this battle, he continued, but we will show these aliens that humans are not afraid. We will make them pay for every meter of ground they take, and maybe, just maybe, we will survive long enough for other humans to learn from our fight. The room was quiet for a moment. Then Captain Yoon Taiho stood up. For New Busan, he said loudly. For New Busan, everyone replied. Outside, the alien warships were entering the planet's atmosphere. The 5 paragons were preparing for what they thought would be an easy victory against a weak, primitive species. They had no idea that they were about to face something they had never encountered before. Humans fighting for their homes, their families, and their future among the stars. The battle for New Busan was about to begin. The first attack came at dawn. Kethmore, the Kronari warlord, led his forces down from the sky in perfect formation. His black armor shined in the morning light as his ship landed in the main square of New Busan colony. Kethmore stepped out of his ship and looked around. He was tall and powerful, with 4 arms carrying different energy weapons. His armor had never been damaged in battle. He had destroyed planets and crushed armies. This small human colony should be easy. Humans, he called out in a loud voice that echoed between the buildings. I am Kethmore, warlord of the Kronari Empire. Come out and face me if you dare. The colony seemed empty and quiet. Kethmore smiled under his helmet. The humans were hiding like scared animals. This would be over quickly, but then something strange happened. A human soldier stepped out from behind a building. It was Sergeant Kang Soo, a young man with a calm face and steady hands. He was carrying what looked like a simple mirror shield. You want to fight? Kang Soo called back. Then fight, Kethmore laughed. This human had no proper armor, no energy weapons, just primitive equipment. The warlord raised his plasma cannon and fired a beam of pure energy that could melt steel. But Kang Soo did something unexpected. Instead of running or diving for cover, he held up his mirror shield and angled it carefully. The energy beam hit the mirror and bounced back directly at Kethmore. The warlord barely had time to be surprised before his own weapon's energy hit his shield generators. Sparks flew as his defenses overloaded. Impossible, Kethmore growled. No primitive species knows how to redirect energy weapons. But more humans were appearing now. They came out of buildings, from underground tunnels, and from behind cover. Each one carried mirror shields and reflective plates. Sergeant Kang Soo had trained them well. Kethmore fired again, this time with all 4 of his weapons at once. The humans scattered and regrouped, using their mirrors to send the energy beams flying in all directions. Some beams hit Kethmore's own troops, others hit buildings and started fires, but none of them hit the humans they were aimed at. This is not how battles work, Kethmore said angrily. You should run away or surrender. You should not turn our own weapons against us. Sergeant Kang Soo smiled. We do not follow your rules. Then the humans did something even more shocking. Instead of staying far away and being safe, they charged directly at Kethmore. They ran straight into the energy beams, using their shields to protect themselves just long enough to get close. Kethmore tried to retreat, but the humans surrounded him. When his weapons got too hot to fire, they threw away their shields and attacked with simple tools: hammers, pipes, and mining equipment. These should not have been able to hurt his armor, but there were so many humans, and they fought with such determination. Meanwhile, on the other side of the colony, Zilnara the Zarathi huntress was having her own problems. She was a perfect predator, designed to track prey across the galaxy. Her silver fur could sense fear and emotions from miles away. No target had ever escaped her. She landed near the science buildings, expecting to hunt down the colony's leaders. Her glowing green eyes scanned the area, looking for the fear signals that all living beings produced when they were scared. But something was wrong. She could barely sense any fear at all. Dr. Kim Nari and her research team had been busy while the aliens approached. They had studied Zarathi biology and found something interesting. The Zarathi could only track prey by sensing their fear and stress chemicals. If we cannot feel fear, Dr. Kim Nari had explained to her team, then she cannot find us. Researcher Bei Jiwon, a smart young woman who specialized in biochemistry, had found the answer. Using medical supplies from the colony hospital, she had created a drug that blocked fear responses in the human brain. It was dangerous and could only be used for a short time, but it worked. Now Zilnara prowled through the science district, confused and angry. She could hear humans moving around her, but she could not track them. Her perfect hunting senses were useless. "Where are you, little prey?" she called out, her voice like a cat's purr mixed with a snake's hiss. "I can smell you, but I cannot find you. How is this possible?" Dr. Kim Nari stepped out from behind a building, just 10 meters away from the huntress. She should have been terrified, but the drug in her system kept her calm and focused. "You can smell us," Dr. Kim Nari said calmly, "but you cannot track us. Your species evolved to hunt prey that feels fear. We have removed our fear." Zilnara snarled and leaped at the human scientist. But Dr. Kim Nari was ready. She activated a device she had built using quantum field generators from the colony's communication system. The device created random energy patterns that confused Zarathi's senses even more. Suddenly, Zilnara found herself unable to tell which direction sounds were coming from. The quantum interference made her location senses completely unreliable. She, who had always been the hunter, was now lost and confused. Researcher Bei Jiwon and the other scientists appeared from different directions, all of them calm and unafraid. They carried devices that projected more quantum interference. Zilnara spun around trying to track them, but her senses told her they were everywhere and nowhere at the same time. In the mining district, Thoxvin, the Goliathan berserker, was facing his own unexpected challenge. He was enormous, twice the height of any human, with skin like living rock. His strength was legendary. He had walked through artillery bombardments without a scratch. Foreman Osyok, the leader of the mining crews, watched the giant alien smash through buildings like they were made of paper. Thoxvin's roar could be heard across the entire colony. "Come and fight me, tiny humans," the berserker shouted. "I will crush you like insects." But Foreman Osyok had spent 20 years digging tunnels and moving mountains. He understood how to make things fall down. While Thoxvin was destroying buildings on the surface, the mining crews were working underground. They had been digging for hours, creating a network of tunnels directly under the mining district. The tunnels were filled with explosive charges, all connected to a single control system. Foreman Osyok waited until Thoxvin was standing exactly in the right spot. The giant alien was laughing as he tore apart a mining facility with his bare hands. "Now," Osyok whispered into his radio. The explosions came from below, not from the sides where Thoxvin expected them. The ground under his feet suddenly was not there anymore. The berserker, who had never been hurt by any weapon, fell into a deep pit as the earth collapsed around him. But the humans were not finished. More explosives went off, bringing down the walls of the pit and burying Thoxvin under tons of rock and metal. The alien who could not be destroyed was trapped where his strength meant nothing. In the command center, Sindral, the Technar strategist, was having the most confusing battle of its existence. As a living computer, it could calculate every possible outcome of any battle in seconds. It always knew the perfect strategy, but the human defenders were not following any logical pattern. Lieutenant Namhieri, the tactical commander, was making decisions that made no sense from a military standpoint. When Sindral calculated that the humans should retreat to the north, they attacked from the south. When logic said they should defend their weapons depot, they abandoned it and attacked the alien supply ships instead. When the perfect strategy was to protect their leaders, they sent Governor Park Minho to the front lines while hiding their mechanics in the command bunker. This is impossible, Sindral said to itself, its mechanical voice full of frustration. These humans are making random choices. There is no pattern to their behavior. Lieutenant Namhieri heard this through the communication channel they had intercepted. She smiled and spoke directly to the alien computer. You are right, she said. We are being random. We are doing things that do not make sense. That is why you cannot beat us. Sindral tried to process this information. How could randomness be a strategy? How could chaos be better than perfect planning? But randomness leads to defeat, Sindral argued. Logic and planning always win against chaos. Not always, Namhieri replied. Sometimes the best plan is to have no plan. Sometimes the smartest thing to do is something stupid. To prove her point, she ordered all remaining human fighters to attack Sindral's position directly. This was clearly suicide. The alien had superior weapons and defenses. Any computer could calculate that the humans would lose. But as the human fighters charged forward, they did not attack in formation. They split up and came from 12 different directions at once. Some flew upside down, others flew backwards. One pilot even turned off his engines and let his ship fall like a rock, firing missiles as he dropped. Sindral tried to calculate responses to all these attacks, but there were too many variables. The computer's logical systems could not handle pure chaos. For the first time in its existence, Sindral did not know what to do. The final paragon, Vorgash, the void-born assassin, was having the strangest day of its long life. It was a master of stealth and murder, able to become invisible and kill targets without being detected. It had assassinated kings and generals across the galaxy, but these humans kept doing things that made no sense to a killer. Security Chief An Junho should have been hiding in a bunker, protected by guards. Instead, he was walking around the colony, helping injured people and organizing evacuations. The sun was setting over New Busan Colony, painting the sky red like blood. Smoke rose from damaged buildings and the sounds of battle echoed through the streets. But something impossible was happening. The 5 paragons, the greatest warriors in the galaxy, were losing. Kethmore, the mighty Kronari warlord, stood in the center of town square, breathing heavily. His black armor was cracked and smoking. Around him lay the broken pieces of his energy weapons. Sergeant Kang Su and his team had used their mirror tactics so well that Kethmore had eventually destroyed his own equipment. This cannot be happening, Kethmore said to himself. I have conquered 100 worlds. I have never been defeated, but the humans kept coming. Captain Yoon Taeho arrived with more colonists, all carrying improvised weapons and wearing armor made from mining equipment. They looked like farmers and workers, not soldiers, but they fought with a determination that Kethmore had never seen before. Why do you not surrender? Kethmore shouted at them. You cannot win. I am stronger than all of you together. Captain Yoon Taeho stepped forward. His uniform was torn and dirty, but his eyes were fierce. You are stronger than any one of us, he admitted. But you are not stronger than all of us, and we are fighting for our home. Kethmore charged at the human captain, using his 4 fists like hammers, but Yoon Taeho did not try to match the alien's strength. Instead, he rolled to the side and let Kethmore's momentum carry him into a wall. While the warlord was off balance, 3 other humans attacked with plasma cutters they had taken from the mining equipment. The improvised weapons cut through Kethmore's damaged armor. For the first time in his life, the great warlord felt pain. He fell to his knees, unable to believe what was happening. Impossible, he whispered as darkness closed around him. Primitive beings cannot defeat the mighty Kronari. But Captain Yoon Taeho knelt beside the dying alien and spoke gently. We are not primitive. We are just different. Those were the last words Kethmore heard. In the science district, Dr. Kim Nari and her team had turned Zilnara's greatest strength into her weakness. The Zirathi huntress was now completely lost, unable to track prey that felt no fear. Her perfect senses were useless against quantum interference. Researcher Bai Jiwan had positioned the team in a circle around the confused predator. Each scientist carried a quantum field generator, creating overlapping patterns of interference that made Zilnara's location senses completely unreliable. You have taken away my hunting ability, Zilnara snarled, spinning around wildly. but I am still faster and stronger than you. When I catch you, I will tear you apart." "Yes," Dr. Kim Nari said calmly. "You are faster and stronger, but speed and strength are not everything." The scientists began to move in a complex pattern, always staying exactly the right distance from the huntress. They had calculated her maximum jumping distance and her reaction time. By working together and using precise timing, they kept her in the center of their circle where the quantum interference was strongest. Zilnara leaped at one scientist, but the interference made her miss. She tried to chase another, but ran straight into a wall because her senses told her the human was in a different direction. The perfect predator became like a trapped animal, striking at shadows and echoes. "This is not fair," Zilnara cried out in frustration. "Prey should run. Prey should be afraid. This is not how hunting works." "We are not your prey," Dr. Kim Nari replied. "We are scientists. We solve problems." The quantum interference began to affect Zilnara's brain directly. Her species had evolved to process sensory information in a very specific way. When that information became random and chaotic, her mind could not handle it. She collapsed to the ground, her nervous system overloaded by conflicting signals. The huntress who had tracked prey across galaxies died from the one thing she had never learned to handle: confusion. Deep underground, Thoxvin the Goliathan berserker was discovering that his incredible strength meant nothing when he could not move. Foreman Osiok and his mining crews had buried the giant under tons of rock and twisted metal. The berserker tried to dig his way out, but every time he moved rocks, more fell down to take their place. His roars of anger echoed through the tunnels, but no one could hear him on the surface. "Let me out," Thoxvin shouted into the darkness. "Let me out and I will make your deaths quick." But there was no answer except the sound of settling rubble. The miners had built their trap well. The more Thoxvin struggled, the deeper he sank into the collapsed tunnels. Hours passed. The great berserker, who had never felt pain, began to feel something worse: helplessness. His enormous strength was useless against gravity and tons of stone. Eventually, the air in the buried tunnels began to run out. Thoxvin's breathing became heavy and difficult. For the first time in his life, he felt afraid. Above ground, Foreman Osiok listened to the aliens' weakening roars through a communication device they had lowered into the pit. The old miner's face was sad, not happy. "We could let him suffocate slowly," one of the younger miners said. "He deserves it after what he did to our buildings." Osiok shook his head. "No, we are not monsters." He activated the mining charges one more time. A final explosion brought down the rest of the tunnel system, crushing Thoxvin instantly. The berserker who could not be killed died quickly and without more suffering. "Even enemies deserve mercy," Osiok said quietly. In the command center, Sindril the Technar strategist was experiencing something no computer should ever face: a complete system failure. The human defenders had been acting randomly for hours, and the aliens' logical processes could not handle pure chaos. Lieutenant Nam Hyeri watched as sparks flew from Sindral's mechanical body. The living computer was trying to calculate responses to thousands of illogical human actions all at the same time. "Please," Sindral said, its voice distorted and crackling. "Please fight logically. I cannot process this level of randomness." "Life is not logical," Namhyeri replied. "People are not computers. We make decisions based on feelings, hopes, and love. You cannot calculate those things." She gave Sindral one final puzzle that broke the alien's mind completely. On the screens around the command center, she showed recordings from the battle. Humans were risking their lives to save wounded alien soldiers. Others were sharing their food and medical supplies with captured enemies. "Calculate this," Namhyeri challenged. "Explain why humans help their enemies. Show me the logic in mercy and compassion." Sindral tried to process this information, but it was impossible. The alien had been programmed to understand war, strategy, and survival. It could not comprehend beings who valued kindness more than victory. "Error, error, does not compute," Sindral repeated over and over, its voice getting weaker. "Some things cannot be computed," Namhyeri said gently. "Some things can only be felt." The living computer's core processor overloaded and shut down permanently. The strategist who had planned 1,000 perfect victories died trying to understand human compassion. In the medical station, Security Chief An Junho faced Vorgash the Voidborn assassin in a standoff that neither of them had expected. The assassin was trapped in Engineer Cho Yunji's stasis field, unable to move but still conscious. "You confuse me, human," Vorgash said.
"Why did you protect my wounded allies?"
"Why did you risk your life for enemies?" An Junho was standing guard over the medical station, where human doctors were treating injured soldiers from both sides. His own arm was bandaged where he had been wounded earlier in the battle. "Because they are hurt," An Junho said simply. "When someone is hurt, you help them. It does not matter if they are your friend or your enemy." "That makes no sense," Vorgash replied. "The wounded aliens would kill you if they could. Why waste medical supplies on beings who hate you?" An Junho looked at the alien assassin with something like pity. "Because that is what makes us human. We do not help people because they deserve it. We help them because they need it." Vorgash had killed thousands of beings across the galaxy, but none of them had ever confused him like this. Every species he knew fought for power, territory, or survival. But these humans seemed to fight for ideas, for principles that had no logical value. "You are weak," Vorgash said, but his voice sounded uncertain. "Compassion is weakness. Mercy is weakness, maybe," An Junho admitted. "But it is also what makes life worth living." Engineer Cho Yunji adjusted the stasis field controls. "The field will hold him for a few more hours," she told An Junho. "What should we do with him after that?" An Junho thought about this carefully. The alien had come to kill them all. By every rule of war, they should execute him or lock him up forever. "We will let him go," he said finally. "What?" Cho Yunji stared at him. "He is an assassin. He will try to kill us again." "Probably," An Junho agreed. "But maybe he will also remember that we showed him mercy when we did not have to. Maybe he will think about why we did that." Vorgash listened to this conversation with growing amazement. These humans were planning to release their most dangerous enemy simply because they believed it was the right thing to do. "You are all insane," the assassin whispered. "Yes," An Junho said with a small smile. "We probably are." As the stasis field finally failed, Vorgash found himself free to move. He could easily kill both humans and escape. Instead, he stood still staring at them. 3 weeks after the battle at New Busan, the Galactic Council gathered again in their great hall. But this time the mood was very different. Fear filled the air like a thick fog. The impossible had happened and no one knew what to do about it. Vextar stood at his golden throne, but he did not look proud anymore. His blue skin had turned pale and his 4 hands shook as he held the reports from New Busan. Around him, hundreds of alien representatives whispered nervously to each other. "The 5 paragons are dead," Vextar announced, his voice cracking. "All of them. Killed by primitive humans on a small mining colony." The whispers stopped. The hall became silent except for the sound of Vextar's heavy breathing. "How is this possible?" asked Council Member Thyron, the small purple alien who had warned against attacking the humans. "Our warriors were the strongest in the galaxy. They had the best weapons, the best armor, the best training." Vextar activated the holographic display. Images appeared showing the aftermath of the battle. The once proud Kethmore lay dead in the town square, killed by miners with improvised weapons. Zilnara had died from sensory overload, confused and lost. Thoxven was buried under tons of rock. Zindrel's computer core had burned out trying to understand human behavior. Even Vorgash, the master assassin, had been defeated. "They did not fight like civilized beings," Vextar said angrily. "They used tricks and deception. They attacked in ways that made no sense. They sacrificed themselves for others. They showed mercy to our wounded soldiers. They broke every rule of proper warfare." An old alien with crystal skin raised one of his thin arms. "Council leader, perhaps that is exactly why they won. They did not follow our rules, so our warriors could not predict their actions. Rules exist for a reason," Vextar snapped. "Order must be maintained. The strong must rule the weak. That is how the galaxy has always worked." But even as he spoke, Vextar knew that something had changed forever. Reports were coming in from all across the galaxy. Other species were talking about the humans' victory. Some were amazed. Others were frightened. Many were asking questions. If humans could defeat the 5 paragons, what else could they do? On the other side of the galaxy, a very different kind of meeting was taking place. Ambassador Song Kyung sat in a small, simple room aboard the human diplomatic ship. She was a calm, intelligent woman with gray hair and kind eyes. She had been chosen to represent humanity to the Galactic Council. "Are you ready for this?" asked Admiral Wu Jin, the commander of the human fleet. He was younger than the ambassador, with a serious face and careful manner. As ready as anyone can be, Song Kyung replied. The council is expecting us to arrive with threats and demands. They think we are coming to conquer them. Are we not? Admiral Wu Jin asked with a small smile. Song Kyung shook her head. No, we are coming to talk. The people of New Busan did not fight because they wanted to conquer anyone. They fought because they wanted to live in peace. Through the ship's windows, they could see the massive space station where the Galactic Council met. It was bigger than any human city, with thousands of ships from hundreds of different species. It represented the power and authority of the galaxy's oldest civilizations. They will not trust us, Admiral Wu Jin warned. After what happened to their paragons, they will see us as monsters. Then we will show them they are wrong, Song Kyung said firmly. Back in the council chambers, panic was spreading. More reports arrived every hour, and each one made the situation worse. The Dralecki Trade Union is asking for human protection, reported one messenger. They say human ships defended their convoy better than our own fleet. The mining colonies in Sector 7 want to hire human engineers, said another. They heard about the weapons the humans built on New Busan. Worse, added a third messenger. 3 different species have sent ambassadors to Earth. They want to make alliances directly with humans, without asking our permission first. Vextar's anger grew with each report. The careful order he had built over centuries was falling apart. Species that had been loyal to the Council for thousands of years were now looking to humans for leadership. This cannot continue, he declared. We must gather our fleets and attack Earth directly. We will show the galaxy that the Council still has power. But Council member Thyron stood up, her purple fur bristling with worry. Council leader, what if we lose again? What if the humans defeat our entire fleet like they defeated the Paragons? Impossible, Vextar snarled. New Busan was just one small colony. Earth is their homeworld, but it is still just one planet. We have the combined might of 100 worlds. However, even as he spoke, Vextar felt doubt creeping into his mind. The humans had done the impossible once. Could they do it again? Before anyone could answer, alarms began ringing throughout the station. New ships were approaching. Human ships. Council leader, the communications officer announced. We are receiving a message from the human fleet. They request permission to dock and speak with the Council. How many ships? Vextar demanded. 12, sir. All small vessels. No heavy weapons detected. Vextar was confused. If the humans had come to conquer, where was their mighty fleet? 12 small ships could not threaten the Council station. They wish to speak, Thyron said hopefully. Perhaps they come in peace. Or perhaps this is another human trick, Vextar replied. But he was curious despite himself. Allow them to dock, but surround them with our security forces. An hour later, Ambassador Song Kyung walked into the Council chambers. She was accompanied by only 2 guards and Admiral Wu Jin. They wore simple uniforms, not battle armor. They carried no weapons. The alien representatives stared at these humans, the first they had ever seen in person. Song Kyung looked small and fragile compared to most of the aliens around her. Admiral Wu Jin was taller and stronger, but still seemed ordinary compared to beings like the towering Goliathan or the crystal-skinned ethereals. These are the mighty humans? Whispered one alien to another. They look so normal. Vextar rose from his throne, trying to look intimidating. I am Vextar, leader of the Galactic Council. You humans have caused much trouble in our galaxy. Ambassador Song Kyung bowed politely. I am Song Kyung, speaking for the human colonies on Earth. We have come to discuss the recent events at New Busan. Discuss? Vextar's voice was full of disbelief. Your people killed our greatest warriors. 5 beings who had conquered worlds died on your little colony. What is there to discuss? Why it happened, Song Kyung replied calmly, and how we can prevent it from happening again. The council chamber erupted in confused murmurs. The humans were not making threats or demands. They seemed to want to talk about peace. You attacked our colony, Admiral Wu Jin said, his voice steady and clear. You sent warriors to kill civilians. Our people defended themselves. We did what we had to do. Your defense destroyed our most elite forces, Vextar accused. How did primitive colonists defeat trained warriors? Ambassador Song Kyung looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes of different alien representatives. We were not trying to defeat them, she said quietly. We were trying to survive. There is a difference. She activated a small device, and holographic images appeared in the center of the chamber. These showed scenes from the battle at New Busan, but from the human perspective. The aliens watched as human doctors treated wounded Kronari soldiers. They saw human engineers sharing water with captured Zarathi troops. They witnessed Security Chief An Junho protecting alien prisoners with his own life. "Your warriors came to kill us," Song Kyung explained. "But we did not fight with hatred. We fought to protect our families and our homes. When the battle was over, we treated your wounded and buried your dead with honor." Councilmember Thyron leaned forward in her chair. "But how did you defeat beings so much stronger than you?" "Because they expected us to be like them," Admiral Wu Jin answered. "They expected us to follow their rules and fight their way. When we did not, they could not adapt." Ambassador Song Kyung nodded. "Your paragons were used to enemies who fought for conquest or territory. We fought for love and hope. They could not understand that, so they could not defeat it." Vextar slammed one of his fists on his throne. "Pretty words will not change facts. You humans are dangerous. Your unpredictable nature threatens the order of our galaxy." "Yes," Song Kyung agreed, surprising everyone. "We are dangerous, but not in the way you think." She changed the holographic display to show images from across human space. Human colonies were sharing technology with alien neighbors. Human doctors were treating diseases that had plagued other species for centuries. Human engineers were helping to build better ships and cities. "We are dangerous to hatred," Song Kyung continued. "We are dangerous to oppression. We are dangerous to the idea that might makes right." She paused and looked directly at Vextar. "But we are not dangerous to beings who want to live in peace." The council chamber was completely silent. Every alien representative was thinking about what they had heard. "What do you want from us?" Thyron asked finally. "Nothing," Admiral Wu Jin replied. "We do not want to conquer your worlds or replace your government. We want to be left alone to live our lives and help our neighbors." "But if you attack us again," Song Kyung added softly, "we will defend ourselves. And next time it will not be just one small colony.